everybody. Welcome to the podcast Talent Playbook, which is for HR and by the HR professionals. Today we have with us Bina Belani. Bina is currently the Chief People Officer of Ascent Telecom Infrastructure. She has had a varied industry experience across her tenure as an HR leader. And currently she's been in a spree of winning a lot of awards and accolades as a change maker, as a CHRO, as an innovative leader, and all because of her contribution to strategic HR space. And that's why she would be ideal for us to capture insights from this podcast. So welcome, Bina.
Thank you, Sudeshna, for having me and for the lovely introduction. Pleasure to be with you.
So straight into our question on trends, which we always kind of try to ask people, like in this noise where everybody is capturing something that this is the trend. In terms of that, what do you think is the 2026 trend as far as workplace is concerned and talent management is concerned? What are your take on the trends?
I think as we've entered 2026, it is very visible that change and change management is really happening. It's not happening in episodes. It is almost in a continuum now. And I think what is so important is to understand, every leader has to understand now that it's not only how you do the change or how you manage it. It's also important to see how fast we are adapting. It's also important to see how human we are while adapting that change, because we are dealing with the people in the workplace. And I think the fast and the human need to go together. So striking that balance is the most important, need to be trend right now. Yeah.
Okay, so are you following any framework, etc., for that change? How are you? I think what you absolutely the nail on the head, that balancing the task with the people, right? We need to deliver the results, but we need to see that those people are getting affected. So, do you have a way of making that change happen?
Yeah, I'm aware that you are the expert in change management frameworks. So, I will leave that expertise to you. But what I normally do is, I think context is also very important. So, whichever organization that I'm working in that moment while the change is happening, and the change can be of any form or format, is to understand what really is happening in that place with the people. So, what is really the business context? What's happening in the external world? How are we dealing with the customers, vendors, other clients and stakeholders? Right? And what are the employees feeling within the organization? Now, once you have a context which is organizational, geographical, and in the moment for that place, then it is easier to sort of fill in the gaps for what is the strategy required for that place, how fast, in which year, which milestone should be achieved, right? And because, of course, of the background of HR, it is very easy to identify which area needs more attention. Certain organizations will ask for the foundations itself to be built of HR. Like, do you have a talent strategy? Do you have a succession map in place? What are you doing in training or learning and development? How are you keeping abreast with the external world? What are the HR practices with regards to performance management and so on? Another organization may be grappling with higher order things. How do we get to something like a PCMM level 4? How do we show people that we are a global organization? Why are we, so open to different cultures across different organizations? How do we deal with people of different geographies and things like that, right? So those kinds of calls will be very, very different. And it is very, very pertinent to understand. That's why context becomes king in these kind of calls, right? It is very important to understand what the organization is doing and in which stage the organization itself is, compared to its original plan. So context will determine what HR strategy you follow at that time. I think that is something that I follow on a practical basis.
I think context gives everything, right? Otherwise, anything you do, it will fall flat if you have not taken that into account. Right. And I completely agree. in all these changes which you are making? Like, I understood that you are trying to stack it or
Yeah.
make it in a way that it is more palatable. But in
Yeah.
all this, is learning taking a hit or learning is also changing?
Learning is changing, yes. Now, is learning taking a hit depends on what people like us do in the organization with help from all the other leaders that exist. Because learning is not an isolated topic in my mind. It is not the job solely of a learning manager or of a CHRO to decide what happens in the L&D space. I think it is very, very important. Like you were talking about trends earlier. So in the learning space, for example, I think it is time for those who have not woken up to wake up, especially those who are people managers, right? So it doesn't matter which department, function, or grade I belong to. If I have a team reporting to me, I am in a way in charge of how they think about their careers and how their learning journey is shaped, how their career map is, how their career path is mapped out, things like that. So it is very important to orient people managers, and for people managers also to show sort of some fire in the belly to say that, this is how I'm going to look after the set of people that have been entrusted to me, right? So yes, people managers definitely have to be more aware of what is going to happen in the learning space and what is important to them. It could be leadership, managerial, technical, functional, financial, any kind of education that the team needs. What I also see as a trend coming in, maybe in our country's context, it may take a little longer because we are still really driven by growth in terms of designation. Every 3-4 years, I need a promotion. Every 3-4 years, you give me a good increment. Then I will stay with the organization for a very long period of time. Is one set of things that exist. And we've also got the next generation that is okay to move. And it's not that they're disloyal or something. They're loyal to their careers and they're looking for learning, change, and growth in terms of exposure. So every 2-3 years, if they make a jump to another organization, there's something new that they're going to be exposed to in terms of work, which is fine. So everything is right and wrong. But I think the importance of skills is going to become very important in some time, more than roles, right? So we have been historically looking at careers in a very sort of demarcated way in terms of designations and functions. And, I will be assistant manager, but I will work in finance and I will do this over a long period of time. Could be one way of thinking that we have sort of inherited since some time. It will have to change to skills because skills are changing very fast. The requirement for skills is changing very, very fast. And people who want to be in the market will have to upgrade very, very fast. People who have a learning orientation, which means that I start as a beginner every day. That is why a beginner's mindset is very important. It's not okay to say that I know how we do it here. I have been doing it like this since the past so many years. It does not matter in today's context because if the organization changes, if there is a change, if there's a merger, if there's a takeover, if you change jobs, your relevance will be determined by how skillful you are for the next organization or for the next role within the same organization. Because even an organization evolves very fast, right? So tomorrow, if I say my entire organization is going to be AI enabled for all the operational processes, how many people are really going to be ready is my job to assess. And that's why skills are going to be very, very important. Also, learning as a format may not work as we have historically been using it. It will have to be embedded within the work and not like on a separate, I will go out for 2 days and I will learn something and come, may not be the best option right now because work is a lot, time constraints exist, people may not release people for 2-3 days together. So it will have to be embedded into smaller modules, AI enabled, learn at your own pace kind of modules. I think this is what will essentially very quickly happen in learning if it has not already happened in all the organizations.
I think it has never happened before that we are kind of trying to change both at the same time, and
Correct, yes.
Hence people are suddenly like with a lot of changes happening. In all this turmoil, what do you think is a must-have quality of the top leadership?
Humility, because learning requires unlearning, as we are also learning what to do with our people, what to do with the new training requirements, how do we deal with people not open to training. I think humility will help us sort of keep whatever we have known in the past aside and help us look at every situation as a new situation and then deal with it. I also think so some people have this thought that leaders are supposed to show some class by not talking down about their people when they're thinking about problems in the organization. And I disagree with it. I think a leader shows much more class when he or she is able to very honestly, do an analysis, even if quietly on a piece of paper. You write a left and a right, what's working, what's not working with your own organization and your people. It doesn't mean that you're putting your organization or your people down. It means that you have the guts to actually see things for what they are.
Yeah.
And you do it only because you care and only because you want to improve what the organization should look like in the next couple of years. And if you have that, learner's mindset, and if you have the guts to actually see things for what they are very objectively, because you want to solve them, I think that is something that's going to be very important for leaders to imbibe.
Anything you found difficult to unlearn?
Anything that I found difficult to unlearn? Not yet. No, I'm yet to come across, because I am a learner by nature. I like learning new things. When there is a capable person explaining it, I also like to debate, because it's good to see all the sides of the same situation before you actually arrive at the correct learning that you need to take away from there. So yeah, I find it relatively easy to unlearn. Yeah.
Okay, great. I think that learner mindset, if we are walking the talk, it becomes easier for the people around us to see as to what we are really trying to say.
Yeah.
And what do you think? If culture had a smell,
Yeah.
what would it be?
So if culture had a smell, and if I had a chance to create that culture, I think it would be fresh and vibrant. And fresh, vibrant, it would smell of learning, it would smell of happiness, it would smell of trust, and it would smell of growth. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It looks very natural. So I think it would be from the it would give that freshness smell, I would say. And what do you think is the biggest time waster?
Gossip.
Okay. So yeah. So you in everything you said, I felt like people managers group is very important to you. So is there any advice which you would like them to stop doing something? The group of people managers.
Yeah, I would like them to stop throwing the ball irresponsibly on their people by saying things like, CEO said to do this, HR ne bola hai karne ko, or that we have to finish this because it's a timeline or deadline. No, I think you have to have the courage to take ownership of your people, of your processes, of everything. If you're not able to own what your people are going to do in your team, how they are going to be driven, what is the strategy you're going to follow, what is the path that they're going to take, how are you going to develop them into future leaders, how are you going to give them a better platform to perform on. I think if you're not ready to take that, you should step down from your role, or you should not take a high growth role. You should continue as an individual contributor, because unless you're able to take your people along and give them honest feedback, it may not sound right, but it's good for them. If you're not able to guide your people in the right way and encourage people who are doing good and give opportunities to people who have fire in their belly, it works both ways. If you're able to do these things, then you become a people manager. Else, please step down. I think you're wasting everybody's time.
Yes, something I think people tend to kind of to become popular or not. Sometimes
Exactly.
that is always a struggle. So, Bina, to round this up, what would be your advice to your fellow HR leaders?
Advice to my fellow HR leaders. All right. I think over the next 18 months, we are going to see times which are going to be not as straight as we've been used to over the past many years. It is going to be a time where we have to start investing in building trust within the organization a lot more. We could ideally stop chasing trends for a while, build trust within the organization. Change will happen. So we need to remind ourselves that people don't necessarily fear change. They fear being left out of it. So if something that's happening that is good, that is growth oriented, that is positive, that's making the organization bigger, better, I want to be a part of it. So how do you make everyone feel a part of the change that is happening, build trust, and then move ahead? I think that is something that's going to help all of us in the HR community. While the change is happening, it has to be fast and it has to be human together. we will not be allowed to choose sides if we want sustainable change. I think that's how we're going to work.
Thank you, Bina. And as I said, we are in this profession for the last 18 years, doing change, doing leadership. But whenever I talk to leaders like you, I always carry back something. So we can kind of end episode 5 of this podcast. And yeah, I'm taking back with change now being a continuum and context to be the king, and that kind of resonated with me a lot. And I think you will do very well with your learning mindset. So
Thank you.
congratulations and thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Take care and all the best. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, Vicky. Yeah, thank you.
Bye.